I told my husband to lose the entitled attitude and do shit for himself. My husband Danny had this weird thing where he acted like a literal toddler whenever he got sick. Last month, he took it way too far. It started when he came home from work complaining about a headache. Within an hour, he was sprawled on the couch demanding I bring him soup, tissues, medicine, more blankets, different blankets because those were too hot. I work from home, so I guess he figured I was his personal nurse or something. The next morning, he woke up and immediately started whining that he felt dizzy. Instead of getting up to take his temperature or grab some Tylenol, he literally yelled for me from the bedroom like I was his mom. I brought him breakfast in bed, checked his forehead, the whole deal. He milked it for 3 entire days. By day 4, I was exhausted. I'd been running up and down the stairs constantly, missing work calls to bring him snacks, and he hadn't even said thank you once. That's when I noticed something weird. Every time I left the house for groceries or errands, I'd come back and find pizza boxes or takeout containers in the trash. So I decided to test him. I told him I was going to my sister's place for a few hours and needed him to rest. Instead, I parked around the corner and watched our house. 20 minutes later, Danny walked out looking perfectly fine, got in his car, and drove to meet his buddies at the sports bar. I sat there for 2 hours watching him through the window, laughing and drinking beer with his friends like he wasn't supposedly dying of some mysterious illness. When he got home, he immediately flopped back on the couch and started groaning about how terrible he felt. That's when I snapped. I walked into the living room and told him exactly what I saw. His face went completely white, then red, then he had the nerve to get defensive. He said he just needed fresh air and that hanging with his friends was part of his recovery process. I lost it. I told him to lose the entitled attitude and do shit for himself from now on. I wasn't his mother, his maid, or his personal assistant. If he wanted to fake being sick to get out of responsibilities, he could handle his own fake recovery too. He tried to argue that he really was sick and that I was being unsupportive, so I grabbed his phone and showed him the photos his friend Jake had posted on Instagram. There was Danny, looking completely healthy, holding a beer and grinning at the camera with the caption, "Boys Night Out." The next day, Danny suddenly felt well enough to go back to work. Funny how that works. But here's where it gets really good. A week later, I actually got sick with the flu, like proper sick with a fever and everything. I was expecting him to step up and take care of me the way I'd been taking care of him. Instead, this man had the audacity to complain that I was too loud when I coughed, and that my being sick was ruining his sleep schedule. He asked if I could maybe sleep in the guest room so I wouldn't disturb him. When I asked him to pick up some medicine from the pharmacy, he said he was too busy with work stuff, so I called his mom. I told her everything, how he'd faked being sick for days while I waited on him hand and foot, then refused to help when I actually needed it. She was furious. Apparently, this was exactly how he acted as a kid whenever he wanted to skip school or get out of chores. His mom showed up at our house that same day and absolutely destroyed him. She told him he was acting like a spoiled brat and that she was embarrassed to have raised such a selfish man. She made him apologize to me and forced him to go buy medicine, soup, and anything else I needed. But the best part happened 2 weeks later. Danny actually got sick for real this time, with some stomach bug that had him throwing up all night. He came crawling to me, literally begging for help and promising he'd learned his lesson. I looked at him and said I was too busy with work stuff to help. Then I went to stay at my sister's place for the weekend while he dealt with it alone. His mom refused to come help him too after I told her what happened. When I came back, the house was a disaster and he looked like he'd been hit by a truck. He apologized for everything and admitted he'd been acting like a complete ass. Now, whenever he gets sick, he handles it himself like a grown adult.